Blood Shinobi here, bringing What If Kushina and Minato adopted Obito and Kakashi Part 5. So before we get into the recap and all this, I just want to know, why is What If Naruto was in an arranged marriage not doing so well? What do I need to improve for that? But I just want to know, how do I improve it to get it good again? Now, for the recap. Well, Obito and Kakashi got back, they found Rin, and then they went to go to Kanabi Bridge or whatever. And Rin's sister died, so that's where we left it off. Now let's continue.
To ashes, when do we burn away? Used to be oh so close, now I see you.
Kakashi, Obito, and Rin were standing there. They had just destroyed the bridge, and now they were walking home through the forest. Rin still holding Obito's hand because she's still sad that her sister had died. All night, the past couple of times, the past 2 nights on the walk here, they had been so slow, back and forth, and then destroying the bridge was, well, she didn't do anything. She just cried and cried and cried. And she cried into Obito. So that is what's been going on. Kakashi has been reading the Ichi books and thinking about Anko every night. And he's hoping that he could give her a little surprise. And so yeah, I'll give you guys the sex scene if that's what you want. So yeah, you'll get one in this. So that's where he was. Kakashi was thinking about Anko's body. He wanted to know what she was really like. But he noticed that with Minato and Kushina there, he'd never find out. But they're not home right now. So he might take this as his time and chance to go get with Anko and give his thing. She's been asking her for a while, and they haven't really done it and haven't thought about it. But now he thinks he might. And he knows he's 10, but what's he got to lose? She gets pregnant, and then yeah, he gets in trouble by Rin, Kushina and Minato, but he's a Jonin now. He's officially an adult, and he was when he became a ninja, so they can't really say he can't. Rin was holding Obito's hand tightly. She didn't want to lose anyone else anymore. She had just recently lost her sister. She's gonna stay at her house, and she wants Obito to stay there too and meet her parents when they get back. Meanwhile, with Frozen, he was sitting there behind his desk and walked in. Danzo, "What do you want, Danzo?" asked Hiruzen. "Nothing much. I just wanted to ask you something," said Danzo. "What is it?" asked Hiruzen. Danzo smirked at this. "I want to eliminate your Anbu, and I want you dead," said Danzo. "What, you think you can beat me?" asked Hiruzen. "Yes, and I will. We're going to fight. I want to fight you. Let's go. You'll lose anyway," said Danzo. Hiruzen didn't know what to say. He didn't know if he was being serious or not. He hoped he was just being serious because he didn't really want to fight him. He was kind of close to Danzo as kids, and when they were getting and all that. But he doesn't know. If he has to fight him, he will. Danzo just stood there smirking. "Don't think I will." A bunch of Root Anbu jumped in the room. They all were ready to strike and kill Danzo. All the Anbu there, Parisians jumped in and killed the Root members without Danzo even lifting an eye. Hiruzen just chuckled. "I've made a little bit of an improvement to my guards," chuckled Hiruzen. Hiruzen pointed a finger over to Orochimaru, who walked in the door. Danzo, "You're a sticky bastard," said Orochimaru. That is all that Danzo could hear. 2 hours later, he woke up and he was without clothes. He had scratches all up his body, and there was a letter next to him. Don't you dare threaten me again. It's from Horizon Saratobi. He didn't know why he was kind of scared, but at the same time, he can't be. His route will. He's gonna have to train his route up. They can't lose to Horizon. He can't lose to Horizon if he's gonna be Hokage and change the world for the better. But then he realized something. How can he change the world if he can't even beat Horizon? He will have to beat Horizon before anything else goes into motion. His route had surrounded him. Go now. Find me the best ninjas in Konoha. We're going to start preparing, said Danzo. They all just nodded their head. They knew what Danzo was wanting. He wants to kill Horizon. He's going to do so, but he's going to need the best. But he won't find the best anywhere in here. He's going to have to get outside help. Missing Nin. And appeared next to him was White Zetsu. Well, he didn't know who it was. Who are you? Asked Danzo. All the root turned with their blades, and they all aimed at him. Who are you? Asked Danzo. My name is Zetsu, and if you want some missing Nin, I can always help you. Just shout out Danzo. Just shout out Zetsu, and I shall be here. Chuckled Zetsu. Why would you do that for me? Asked Danzo. Because I want to help a fellow shinobi out that hates Konoha. But that's all he said before vanishing. This man is tricky, but if he helps him defeat Horizon, he will do it. Next appeared was Tenny and some other guy. Who are you? What do you want? Asked Danzo. Well, you just met our friend. We'll be in touch eventually, is all they said before disappearing as well. There's one mystery group. Wait, isn't Tenny a Leaf Shinobi? Wait, did he betray us? Thought Danzo. Then Danzo had a smirk go across his face. If he betrayed Konoha, it means he's a missing Nin, and it must mean he might come in handy. I'll look into that later, thought Danzo. Then there appeared none other than Minato in his office, in Horizon's office. What do you want, Minato? Aren't you meant to be with your wife? Asked Horizon. I am with my wife. I'm not, Minato. And then it went up in a puff of smoke, and no one was there. Weird day I've had, is all that Horizon could think. But then something perked his mind. If that's not Minato, is Minato safe? He's gotta be, but he doesn't mind right now. Back with Kakashi and Obito and Rin. It had been a day and a half of travelling. Why? Because they felt like it was what they had to do. Then there appeared none other than Horizon in front of them. Oh, you're finally back, said Horizon. The mission was okay, but we did lose a life, said Kakashi. Who is it? Asked Horizon, and then he turned to see there was no Manai. She was crumbled by rocks. Iowa Ninja. They got some info out of her. I don't know what. Said Kakashi. The Iowa Ninja might have been that Minato the other day might have been an Iowa Ninja. What information did they get? But they couldn't have got any information because they were killed. That's what the messenger bird had said the other day. But they didn't say that Manai had been killed. It said Iowa had gotten some info. Wait, unless they did. Oh no. I think we might have an attack on our hands, said Horizon. Couple of days later, Minato and Kushina were laying in bed. It was their one day that they don't train a week. This peace treaty is actually going good, for the most part. They had met the two-tailed Cherokee along with B, and they're actually nice people when you get to know them. But B and his rhymes aren't the nicest thing you want to hear, but they don't really care. He's a nice bloke. He's a nice guy, and he always has something to say. He doesn't just accept an input. He has to put his own out. Him and his raps are annoying, but what else can you say? What else is there to say about B? He's a powerful Jinchuriki, and he loves, or his friend with the Eight Tails. Kushina and Chroma have been making progress, but slow progress because of the chain usage in the past, but she doesn't mind. Naruto is the name that B had given her if she ever had a boy, and a girl. They had decided to name it, well, Mito. Why was B helping them choose kid names? Because he felt like it was the right thing to do. And he hopes that with this, there would also be a marriage. Well, A does. He wants someone powerful to marry a Kumo ninja eventually to help the peace treaty stand. They had been discussing that, and today that was getting put into effect. In about 20 years or so, or eventually one day, when the Konoha brings a supplement and strong shinobi that it has something is very skilled, they will put a marriage in place. One that will have to stand unless the Kumo peace treaty doesn't withstand, it will continue. But A doesn't want to really give off any of his ninja just to anyone. They need to be strong and have some skills. That's why it needs to be someone strong. But by the time it happens, he probably won't be Raikage. Over with Horizon. Since Obito, Kakashi, and Rin had gotten back a week ago, everyone was preparing for war. Iowa ninjas have been seen scouting a lot more than they normally would. Horizon thinks that they got information that would cause them to attack and invade, and that is not good for anyone. Civilians have been having evacuation sites set up. They were doing whatever they could to help their civilians, but they need to find out where they're coming from and how many. They don't know. And then there stood Minato. They weren't meant to be back for the next 3 weeks, at least. And that was not good for Horizon because they know when they're getting back, so they'll likely attack when he's not here. Over with Anoiki, the Tsuchikage. He was standing there. He had his forces prepared to start invading Konoha. They were all in their right places. They just need to wait for Anoiki to come. It's going to be a do-or-die fight. Konoha is going to fall. Without Minato there, they're all going to die. And this is going to help Anoiki in the war, big time. Because then Konoha will fall and they will drop out of the war. And then, the Hidden Stone can, take over by being the top. And then everyone leaves. But Anoiki doesn't think that's going to happen. He just knows that there'll be someone here to beat the shit out of most of his ninjas. But he doesn't know who. He doesn't think so. He just has this feeling that there might be. So he's prepared for anything. That's why they're starting to attack today. Ninjas were approaching, and he was within their ranks. He stood there. He was about to give a big speech. Today we crush the village called Konoha, and tomorrow we stand on its rubble. We will be the overall strongest village, one way or another. So prepare for a battle, men, said Anoiki. All the men started cheering. All the shinobi started cheering, because they were about to destroy Konoha. And then that should end the war. No more blood, no more war. They will destroy. They will kill all of Konoha. Everyone. The civilians will bow at their feet. They need to win this war. It's dragging on for too much longer. But then, without Minato there, no one could beat them. A bunch of their jonin were out as well on missions. They knew this because of the war, because of the intel that one ninja had gotten back. He had used the clone to escape after having one of Konoha's ninjas put in a genjutsu to reveal a bunch of information. This was perfect. But they don't know how much Shurizen knows. His men probably aren't prepared to take on all of them. At the gates, Kakashi and Obito stood. They could see the Iwa ninjas. They had been told by scouts that a bunch were forming. The Tsuchikage is standing there, Anoiki, with his dust release. They don't know how they'll be able to stand against him, but they know they'll go down fighting. Obito and, Onko and Rin got what they wanted. After hearing that Iwa had been scouting, Kakashi and Obito both gave in to their urges just this once, just because they think Konoha might die and they can't die a virgin. They're going to kill Iwa ninjas and they might not come back. They, along with a bunch of other shinobi, mostly Chunin and Genin, and a few Jonin stood there. This was going to be a do-or-die fight. Kakashi got his kunai from Minato. They had arrived 2 days ago. He had given one to Onko, one to Ren, one to Obito, one to Haruki, and one to him. They were going to fight if it's the last thing they do. And they'll use it as a last resort to bring in Minato. But they want to. But they don't want to get him away from whatever he's doing. It is probably something with Kushina, and they don't want to interrupt that. He could be naked. He could be undressed. But they wouldn't have a clue because they haven't been in Kumo with them. Kakashi had his Tonto and blade ready. He was not going to die. Obito had his Sharingan activated. They had put in more practice as soon as Iwa told them. Was told that Iwa was coming. And, well, they need to find... It would be nice to find a way to activate the Mangekyo just for this one battle. And then they'd have a spot to win. A way to win. But without Minato, there might not be a chance. Kakashi had one of his Nikon ninja hounds go through, and they spotted about 4,000 Iwa ninja shinobi. There was only 2,000 Iwa leaf shinobi here. The rest were out. But they didn't know how they would be able to do. There is always that one person they could count on if things got low. They're going to bring Minato in as soon as they started falling behind. And they know that sooner or later they will. Kakashi had Rin and Onko stay back. He was not letting them die. They would use the kunai if they died. But that is if they died. There stood Kakashi. He was next to Obito. They were both about to head into this battle if they don't know they're going to win. Kushina and Minato, please remember us, is all that Obito said to Kakashi. Don't think like that. If you think like that, it's most likely going to come true. But don't worry, we will win, right? Said Kakashi. Horizon stood there. He was ready to battle Anoiki. Onko and Ren both used a henge to disguise themselves as ninja. As random shinobi that Kakashi wouldn't know. They were prepared to go fight. If Kakashi was doing it, so were they. If Obito was doing it, so were they. They weren't letting their boyfriends risk their lives without having backup. But they want to take a division, so they weren't on the same team as them, so they weren't told to go back straight away. But once Kakashi and Obito notice that they're fighting, well, what they're going to do? They're in the middle of a battle. They can't just ask their opponent to stop. I've got to go tell someone to do something, right? Because that's a little bit dumb. So that they'll get to fight. That's what they want. And they're going to be happy. Because they can't tell them they can't fight in the middle of a fight if they're fighting. So, they were going. They were going to go. Over with Anoiki, he had his men. They were all surrounding Konoha. Attack! Said Anoiki. All of the Iwa ninjas started to charge at Konoha. They didn't know they were prepared. Kakashi and Obito were taking the ring as leaders. Next to them stood Guy. He didn't know how to do it, but he was starting to unlock the gates. He was going to use the fourth gate and hope they come and win. Kakashi and Obito had their Sharingans activated. They were going to charge if it's the last thing they do. But then, yet again, they might be able to win. Hiruzen saw that they were dividing. Go now! Go protect all the flanks, said Hiruzen. A bunch of ninjas started going all around the village protecting it. Kushina and Onko did that. They were going to go fight as well. They went in a division protecting the east side of Konoha. They were going to enjoy fighting. Kakashi, Obito, and Guy were taking the front one as well, taking the front, so that they could catch up and try and deplete the major attacking force. But they didn't know how they would do. But they hope they come out on top. They don't want any of their precious people dying. With Minato, he was just sitting there next to Kushina. He started rubbing his head and stomach. Kushina, it doesn't feel right. I think something bad's about to happen. Should I go check in Konoha? Asked Minato. Kushina just said, no, don't. They've got it all on the wraps. There's a reason there, Kakashi and all of that. Nothing's going wrong. You can be sure of that with them there. They will be fine, said Kushina, but she had the same gut feeling in her. But she couldn't leave, so Minato wasn't either. If she really wanted to be there, she knew that something was happening. A had said something about Io asking for help in a battle, so he didn't know what it was going on about. In a battle against who? That is all that he wanted to know. But Anoiki wouldn't tell him. He says he'll tell him once he comes to meet him, which A was not doing. He was not going out of his way just to go see who he would be fighting. No, that's not happening. He's got better things he has to do. Like protect his own village from attack. So he wasn't. Killer Bee was just standing there. What's wrong, you fools? Is everything alright? Do you guys need some medication? Asked B. Kushina just shook her head. No, I'm pretty sure something bad's happening, but we don't know yet. We hope nothing bad's happening to the people in Konoha, but you never know. So we hope that everything's alright with them, especially our favourite people, the people we adopted. I hope they're alright, said Kushina. Whatever, they shall be. There's a reason there, said B. You honestly don't care, do you? Asked Kushina. Over with Kakashi and Obito. They had both just stabbed someone so that they could save them each other's back. Guy was just kicking people left and right, taking them out. Hiruzen was in a stalemate with Inoki. They had both been pulling out their best jutsus for the past 5 hours. Unko, well, she started regretting coming out. She wasn't in the best mood and she was feeling sick all of a sudden. Maybe it's because someone slashed at her and, well, kind of put some of their blood in her mouth. Ren was standing there. She was handling one of the shinobi that had fell. But the rest of the battle is for the next step. So, like I said, tell me what I need to do to improve. What if Naruto was in an arranged marriage? And what should happen in the next part for this. So, peace for now.